Welcome to Finding Out a New World in English.
Object pronouns. Singular me, you, him, her, it. Plural us, you, them. An object pronoun refers to the person, animal, or thing affected by an action. They function as the object of a verb or preposition. Consequently, they typically follow the verb or preposition in a sentence. The subject is the doer of the action. The object is the receiver of the action. For example, I like it. Here I is the subject, like is the action, and it is the object. Object of a verb, she saw him. Him is the object pronoun, receiving the action took, the past tense of take. Object of a preposition. This camera is for them. Them is the object pronoun, receiving the preposition for. Object pronouns can function as direct object. Receives the action of the verb. For example, she threw it. It receives the action of the verb throw, past tense. Indirect object receives the direct object. She gave her flowers. Her is the indirect object that receives the direct object, in this case flowers. Object of a preposition receives the action of the preposition. For example, this book is for you. Here the object pronoun you receives the action of the preposition for. To identify the direct object, ask yourself, who or whom is receiving the action of the verb, and what is being affected by the verb? The direct object answers the questions what or whom about the verb. A direct object can be a noun, for example, she writes a letter. Letter is a noun and it's the direct object. A pronoun, for example, he sees her. The object pronoun her is the direct object. A phrase, they bought a house on the beach. A house on the beach is the direct object. The entire phrase receives the action of the verb by, past tense. To identify the indirect object, ask yourself, who or what is receiving the direct object, and who or what is benefiting from the action. The indirect object answers the questions to whom or for whom about the verb. An indirect object can be a noun, for example, she wrote a letter for her grandmother. Her grandmother is the indirect object. Pronoun, for example, he gave the keys to me. The object pronoun me is the indirect object. A phrase, for example, they sent a package to the address on the label. The phrase to the address on the label is the indirect object. Additional information. When does it say you and me? You and me is used as the object of a verb or preposition that receives the action. For example, Richard invited you and me to the beach. It means Richard invited us to the beach. Therefore, you and me represents the object pronoun us. When does it say you and I? You and I is used as the subject of a sentence that performs the action described by the verb. You and I go to the park every weekend. It means we go to the park every weekend. Here you and I represents the subject pronoun we. Watch out! If the indirect object comes before the direct object, it's not necessary to use a preposition before the indirect object. For example, he gives her the cell phone. The cell phone is the direct object, and the indirect object is the object pronoun her, because she's the one receiving the cell phone. If the indirect object comes after the direct object, then the preposition to or for is used. So, in this case you should say, he gives the cell phone to her. To sum up, we use the object pronouns to avoid repetition. Instead of saying Liz's grandparents don't live in the country, she sent a letter to her grandparents, we simply say Liz sent a letter to them. It's faster, more efficient, and sounds much more natural.